A daring duo taking their wedding to a whole new level.
Dragging our whole family up to Everest Base Camp would be impossible. So we have to do this by ourselves.
I was lying there crying and nothing seemed to help. Then I was a bit worried that we wouldn't make it.
Meet Norwegians, Jorn and Tora, who are supposed to be childhood sweethearts. But not all is as it seems.
We met in school, actually.
I don't remember that.
And the first time I saw her, I have to admit, the first thing was I thought she was really pretty.
So the first time I can remember seeing him was in a bar. And he bought me a drink, a tequila sunrise. And I thought, it looks okay. I mean, it looks nice.
The booze won Tora over. And 3 years later, Jorn proposed in Cuba. So, the adventurers wasted no time in planning a wedding that was out of this world.
We wanted it to be unique. I think everyone wants to have a unique wedding. And then Tora, she came across this article about someone who'd taken their wedding photos at Everest Base Camp.
I thought that might be nice to take our photos up there and maybe even get married. Wouldn't that be fun? Ha ha! And he didn't take it as a joke.
I thought it was a great idea. So I said, yeah, we should totally do that.
So the couple started preparing for the biggest day of their lives at the base of the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest.
I think the biggest challenge for us was that it's really hard to get the altitude training, because even though Norway's known for its mountains, they're nowhere near as tall as they need to be to get that altitude training.
The grueling 8-day trip promised to be the couple's toughest challenge yet. But when their thoughts turned to what their friends and family would think, they chose an altogether different approach.
We decided to keep it a secret from our family.
The age-old tactic of eloping. I mean, who else is going to go up that mountain?
We did realize quite quickly that dragging our whole family, including grandparents, up to Everest Base Camp would be impossible. So we actually told our families that we were going on a work trip in Belgium. But instead, we traveled to Nepal.
So, with a clueless nearest and dearest, Jorn and Tora are setting off on a 130-kilometre round trek.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, everything is packed, and we're ready to go.
We're leaving today!
Taking them to a brain-banging altitude of over 5,000 metres. A monumental challenge for a momentous occasion.
When we went up there, we had to be very restricted on what we were packing. We had some hiking gear, extra clothing, these kind of things. But in addition to that, I was carrying a tuxedo in my backpack, and Tora had a wedding dress.
A few of the things that I had to take into consideration when buying a wedding dress was whether it was lightweight, whether it could hide a lot of warm clothes underneath, and whether I could put it on myself. And as long as I got to marry the most handsome man in the world, I could wear a garbage bag for all I cared.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Yay! I'm not.
I think of the two of us, the most nervous was Jorn. He likes to have everything planned out, and that obviously is hard on a trip like this. I just go with the flow.
What I was the most nervous about was the altitude. We didn't really have a backup plan. I was really nervous that we'd get somewhere up and then one of us would just get terribly sick from altitude and we'd have to cancel the whole thing.
And then the inevitable happened, putting the whole trip and wedding into jeopardy.
So when we got up to about 4,900 meters, we were making a stop, and it looked like Tora was just lying down to relax a bit. So I got closer and asked what was going on, and she said that she was starting to feel the altitude really bad now.
It mostly was like a really bad migraine. When my head was hurting, it was just head-splitting headache.
It was so sunny, so she had sunglasses on, then I started realizing that she was crying under the sunglasses.
So this is our wedding day.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We just finished our hard part and I'm completely drained of energy.
I felt really, really bad and also got nervous thinking, is this the end?
I couldn't breathe, and I was lying there crying, and nothing seemed to help. Then I was a bit worried that we wouldn't make it.
Later, will Tora make it to base camp?
We had this natural remedy. The Sherpa was rubbing it on my temple.
And get married?
We were here to celebrate how much we love one another, and what if I make it worse for her?
Next, a virtually perfect proposal.
What?
And then I got really nervous and I was like trying not to cry.
Is that my grandmother's house?
Meet Kelly Norman and Alex Lakovich from Melbourne, Australia.
I met Kelly at her own 21st birthday party that I crashed with a friend of mine.
I think we spoke briefly during the night, but I wouldn't say it was love at first sight for me.
It was love at first sight on my end. I very quickly started to make plans and tried to figure out how to get the girl of my dreams.
After 4 persistent years of persuading, Alex finally convinced Kelly he was the one for her.
We started dating because, I don't know, I saw a few things in him that I really admired.
I guess 10 weeks after we started dating, I knew that she was the one that I wanted to marry.
So Alex started to think of imaginative ways he could pop the big question.
I definitely have been described as someone that doesn't do things by halves. I would rather do a big gesture than something just hidden away with just the two of us.
I never really thought about how I would like to be proposed to, except that I always knew I'd love it for it to be in South Africa, where I'm from.
With Kelly's hometown of Durban almost 10,000 kilometres from Melbourne, Alex had to find a way to make the impossible possible.
A friend of mine at work said that on the weekend he had gone to this virtual reality gaming place and he was just raving about it. I honestly, straight away, thought this would be a perfect way to propose if there was some way that they could change the game or put a little sign in there for Kelly.
So he got in touch with the game designers and they replied saying they'd be happy to help.
Alex, great to meet you.
You too, man.
Come on in, I'll show you what we're doing.
And together, they began creating a virtual world that would make Kelly's dream proposal a reality.
Wow. This is so cool.
The virtual reality location that we created for the proposal was Kelly's happy place, and her favourite place to spend time was her grandparents' house, and more specifically the tree out the front.
It was a very special place to me. I used to read in that tree all the time.
With the virtual scene designed, Alex's next challenge was to get her to the gaming facility.
Kelly and I both spend a lot of time watching different zombie movies.
And actually, one of the first times we hung out was to watch a zombie movie.
So I knew that coupling the proposal with a zombie outbreak game where we'd both be terrified was a great opportunity.
So I knew Alex had planned to do a virtual reality game for his birthday.
Once Kelly and their friends were on site, it was game on.
He seemed kind of giddy and excited, but I thought it was because this was kind of a really new experience that we were all going to have together.
They put on a pack and a headset and some headphones, and you get a gun, and there's sensors all over the room. And from that moment on, you are just together as a team trying to stay alive. It is absolutely terrifying.
Here, zombie, zombie, zombie.
Let's kill some bitches.
Damn! Oh my God!
It was so scary that I was definitely yelling out and screaming.
There's big fat zombies, there's little skinny quick zombies, there's all sorts of things you need to dodge, and there's obstacles.
And then just all of a sudden it went blue. I actually at the time thought that something had gone wrong.
What is going on?
Where are we?
Then I realised that all of my friends suddenly disappeared.
Why? This is not a zombie. I'm so confused.
And it took a while to realise what I was looking at.
What?
It was where I'd grown up in South Africa. And I was like, why is my grandmother's house here?
It's my grandmother's house.
Then I grabbed her by the hand and said my little spiel that I had organised.
I know that we have had a joke that we virtually feel as though we're already engaged. So I thought, why not make that a reality?
And then I got really nervous and I was like trying not to cry. He had said some really lovely things, which, made me pretty emotional. And so when it actually got to him, before he actually proposed, I was like, no, I need to see you in real life now. And so I was like, please, I want to take off my helmet. And then that's when I saw all our friends and family. And then he only proposed once we were actually looking at each other, which was really nice.
Will you marry me?
Just 5 months after Alex's imaginative proposal, the couple got married, and their honeymoon destination was, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog's house. No, it wasn't. It was South Africa.
It was really lovely going back for our honeymoon. It was really surreal.
All of the detail that was put into the virtual reality, it literally felt as though I'd already been there.
I'm really thankful that he did it the way he did it, and that he put so much work and effort into it.
And now, a love story between a woman and her bridal gown.
A wedding dress. It's an expensive part of your wedding, so make the most of it.
Meet Dawn Winfield Hunt from the Isle of Wight in the UK.
As a young girl, I didn't really dream about what my wedding dress was going to look like because I wasn't a princessy sort of person. I've always been sort of, more down to earth, really.
Down to earth Dawn met Steve and fell in love.
I met Steve a long time ago now, and he proposed to me in the most romantic fashion in the back of his V-dub. Yeah, it was very romantic.
With the wedding on the horizon, the time came to choose a wedding dress. And Dawn's first port of call? A local charity shop.
I actually was going for something really, really simple. I just wanted a real plain, simple cream dress. I tried, probably 6 or 7 on, but this one stood out by a country mile. And this was supposed to be £1,800. And I got it for £300. When I first put the dress on, I felt it fitted so well. It was meant to be. It was perfect.
Dress chosen. The big day arrived.
When I put my dress on in the morning, my hair was done beautifully and my makeup was done, and it all just came together. I was so pleased with what I looked like. Loads of people were complimenting me on my dress. Everybody was gobsmacked by it. Oh, you look so beautiful. It's such a beautiful dress.
Following the stunning debut of her wedding dress, Dawn started to have second thoughts about taking it off and decided to wear it for just one more day.
I'd already made my mind up that I was going to wear it for the following day at a barbecue that we were having, so it was quite nice that I knew I was going to wear it a second time.
But after the second day, Dawn still couldn't bear to take it off.
It sort of went a little bit crazy, to be honest. I decided that I was going to just wear it for the week and I was going to put it to bed.
And after a week, well, you get the idea.
I chose to wear the wedding dress for a year. It's an expensive part of your wedding, so make the most of it.
She's certainly getting her money's worth. And now, the bond between Dawn and dress is stronger than ever.
My wedding dress actually has a name. The dress's name is Lady Bella White. I've worn Lady Bella White so many times. I've done some digging in the garden. Taking the dog out for walks. I sailed a ferry with the captain, with his hat on. It's amazing. Hi! Lots and lots of different things. Thank you. But trying to keep it clean is a big challenge.
But Lady Bella White's greatest challenge to date was a colour run.
I was a little concerned that the dress wasn't going to come clean after. I mean, there wasn't one white bit on it. So I put it in the washing machine with some Vanish and just had my fingers crossed. And it came out clean. Hurrah! The dress isn't exactly how it was when I had it. I didn't buy it with leaves all stuck in the bottom and bits of seaweed and holes, and it certainly wasn't this colour when I bought it.
With Lady Bella White looking a bit worse for wear, Dawn is planning on retiring her when the year is up, which could be easier said than done. Let it go, love.
Every time I put it on, it takes me back to what a lovely day it was. I'll be very, very sad to actually put it away at the end of the year.
If you can't let it all go on your wedding day, when can you? Take this bride, for example, celebrating her nautical nuptials in Mexico. She has decided to ruin her dress by jumping into the ocean. But the frivolous act quickly backfired. The gown covered her face, stopping her from being able to breathe. Luckily, her husband, along with the local lifeguards, were quick to react.
She's okay, she's okay.
On this journey that we made.
From one close shave to another.
Together. Oh.
No, it's not what you may think. An insect flew near the bride's face, and in the hope of stopping it bugging her, the groom swatted at it, leaving the minister to clean up any misunderstanding.
There was a bee.
And the bride was very forgiving. Well, this time.
I'd rather have that than get stung.
One thing which shows no mercy is gravity. While working at a lakeside wedding ceremony, the photographer wasn't paying attention to where she was walking. And gravity did the rest. Luckily, it was a soft landing. But we can safely assume the expensive camera is a write-off.
Is the camera okay?
As well as the ups in married life, there are inevitably the downs, because the path to true love very rarely runs smoothly. But there are some couples whose relationships have stood the test of time.
We've been married 60 years. I hope we last another 60.
And after decades of wedded bliss...
Still like to hold her and kiss her. A big softie. I never, ever go to bed at night without giving Colin a kiss. And it's lovely.
They know all the secrets to a successful marriage.
Not sex, is it?
Meet Carol and Jim, who first met 57 years ago.
I've never got the better of her. I've never understood her. I don't know what make women tick anyway.
We've gone through thick and thin together, and we love one another like we did when we were courting.
For Jim, it was love at first sight.
I saw her, and I fancied this big dolly blonde, and I thought, that's going to do for me, that blonde. But she's big, she's about 6 foot tall, her hair all stacked up, and I was only a little shorty, so it was a mountain to climb, really, to get my dear wife.
Carol, though, wasn't interested in the slightest.
I didn't like Jim at all. He irritated me, and I thought he was an idiot, really.
It took me a long time to get our first date. The turning point was we were playing strict snap. It was. If you turned a picture over, you got to get an item of clothing up. And there's a group of about 5 blokes and about 5 women, and they'd fix the cars. Of course they would, but the naive girls didn't realise it. The girls were getting all the clothes off, and when Carol almost got to her underwear, I thought that much of her. I thought, I can't let her go anymore. And I said, stop, that's it. We ain't going no further. It's a fix.
I wasn't that naive, actually. I wouldn't have gone any further.
You went quite far enough.
I wouldn't have gone any further.
But that was about the first time that I'd actually got her to myself, and you trusted me, didn't you?
Yes, I was only 17 then.
Yeah.
Jim eventually won Carol over, but there was someone else who had to say yes.
In them days, you had to ask your father for permission, and my father didn't like Jim.
What upset him from the very beginning, he was really thick into football. And when I first met him, he said, "Who do you support?" I said, "Me mother." It weren't the right answer. I know absolutely nothing about football, and I still don't.
So we decided after that we would wait until I was 21 and then tell him that we were getting married. And that's how that happened.
So, 4 years later, on the 1st of October 1966, the couple married.
We got married at St Andrew's Church in Birmingham.
And it went off absolutely fantastic. It really did go off well. 100 people went there, and it was a really big wedding.
Memories of the day were being captured on camera, while Jim waited impatiently at the altar.
But in front of where I was standing in the church, there was a big brass plaque, and I could see this big white thing moving down the aisle towards me, and I could just see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly, there she was by me. I looked round. My wife. Still felt it now. But, yeah, what a thing. There's a lot of emotion involved in it. It's a big step, it's a big commitment. You know that you're committing yourself to something bigger than just a dress and a woman in that dress. There's more to it.
The wedding may have been a fairy tale, but life was tough.
Our son was born really quick, weren't he? So it started out that we were financially crippled, weren't we?
We had no money.
And looking back at it all, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the hardships, because it was the hardships that's made us as we are now.
I'm very proud to think that we've been married 53 years, and we still feel the same way that we did when we first met.
On their 50th wedding anniversary, the couple were convinced to do something not many would get away with.
So our granddaughter went in the loft and found our wedding outfits, and we tried them on and they fitted.
I just put the suit on straight out the loft, and she took a photograph of it.
And all her friends started sending congratulations from everywhere. So we decided to make this big party, and it just took off, you know, from there, really. It was just through our granddaughter going in the loft.
So, what are Carol and Jim's secrets to a successful marriage?
I think a lot of our marriage is all to do with sense of humour. Jim will always pull a rabbit out the bag and make me laugh.
I don't think there is a secret to it. You've got to try and work at it. I've never got the better of her. I've never understood her. I don't know what makes women tick anyway. And so I've always been struggling to try and find the magic butterfly that's fluttering around somewhere, and I've never actually captured it. It's been a mystery from the day one, but it's still a mystery to me today.
Earlier, two foolhardy adventurers, Jorn and Tora, set off on a 130-kilometre round trek to reach base camp on the highest mountain in the world. And to do what? No, what was it again? Oh, married. OK, fine. But at close to 5,000 metres above sea level, Tora has succumbed to altitude sickness.
It was just head-splitting headache, and it sort of went from my neck and up. It got worse and worse and worse, and I couldn't breathe.
So this is our wedding day.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We just finished our hard part, and I'm completely drained of energy.
I felt terrible for her and the way she was feeling, but I also did not know what to do next, because if I was one having altitude sickness, I know I'd want to push on, and I knew that Tora would want to push on as well. But what if I now, push her into a more painful situation and make it worse for her?
But luckily, we had this natural remedy that the Sherpa was rubbing it on my temples in the nape of my neck.
He was very good, knew what we could do, tried to help us as much as possible. And thankfully after that, things started to go better and we didn't have more issues with the altitude.
We're halfway from Gorachep to base camp now. So I guess roughly 30 minutes left and we'll finally be there.
Everything was falling into place. And after 8 days of walking, Jorn and Tora had completed the physical challenge. But now, they had their wedding to organise.
We started thinking about the wedding right away. We tried to find a rock that we could hide behind to change into our wedding attire.
We did manage in the end to find, it was kind of a little bit of a slope and we could go down there. Later on we did realise that everyone that has to go to the toilet up there.
Both now looking the part, the couple had arranged a traditional Buddhist ceremony, 5,500 metres above sea level.
So the Buddhist ceremony was strange. We didn't understand a single word of it. We had this lama, he had this like a vase thing, sort of looked like a fountain, where he put rice. And he had this bell, he was reciting mantras and ding, 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 ding with a bell. Ding, 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 and we didn't understand anything.
Part of the tradition is to throw rice dipped in some kind of liquid, and because of the lack of resources at base camp, Fanta was what we had available, so they dipped this in Fanta and they threw it over us, which was an interesting experience. So close to the end of the Buddhist ceremony, we were putting the rings on the fingers.
When I tried to put the ring on his finger during the ceremony, it wouldn't go on. I mean, his fingers were just swollen like sausages.
And everyone was standing around, like, watching. So I just quietly told her, okay, we just put it on my pinky.
It was a bit loose, but it wouldn't fall off, as long as he was careful.
So after the Buddhist ceremony, we did a short Norwegian ceremony as well.
The feeling of just standing there and him asking me, do you take this man to be yours forever? I was so filled with joy and I couldn't contain it. So my answer was just, yeah! That sort of felt more like a wedding, like that's when we actually got married.
He said, you may now kiss. And of course that's what we did. And we've kissed many, many times before, but I do have to say it felt more special up there.
And it was, I just get giddy thinking about it.
I didn't really want that moment to end because it's literally a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Så bli sittende, så kommer vi nå med en gang.
But as the couple were packing up to leave, Jorn noticed something was missing. It wasn't a finger, was it?
I wasn't used to wearing a ring, and all of a sudden I didn't feel it anymore. I pulled the glove off, I looked at my hand, and I realized, shit, I've been married for 30 minutes, and I've lost my wedding ring. So we then started looking everywhere.
I just thought that we have to find it.
We could not find the ring. In the end, we just had to accept reality and go back. But when we then got back to the tea house where we were staying, we thought we'd check the backpack one more time. We emptied it out and we couldn't find it.
But as we were leaving the room, I saw something glinting underneath the bed. And I said to Jorn, well, is that your ring? And it was.
There's been so many emotions, so many things happening, and then the ring disappearing and now coming back again. It's just... things went right in the end.
The marriage was clearly meant to be. But on return to Norway, Jorn and Tora had an agonising 2-month wait before their fake wedding with friends and family.
It was very hard keeping a secret when we came home. Because obviously we had seen a lot, we had done a lot. We wanted to tell everyone, or I wanted to tell everyone. The celebration with our family and friends after was amazing.
I think my mother-in-law was a bit surprised because she'd prepared the speech for the wedding and suddenly realised that her speech did not make any sense anymore. I think she was panicking a little bit, but she also looked very happy.
My favourite part was when we got into the room and everyone cheered for us. We did a ring ceremony to put our wedding rings on forever, and my dad got to walk me down the aisle.
And these daring newlyweds have some wise advice to those planning their big day.
Do something that would be meaningful to you, not what everyone else expects you to do. And you don't have to have the most expensive flowers, the most expensive dress.
With weddings, there's a lot of tradition, but if you do your own thing, I think everyone will be happy in the end.
Some brides will do exactly what they want, whatever the cost. Take this bride in Hawaii, who thought tossing a bouquet just wasn't enough. Instead, she decided to throw an expensive handbag. Well, when ladies are willing to spend more on a handbag than a holiday or even a car, what was she expecting? Tossing seems to be a theme. This time, we're in Ontario, Canada, where this bride is winding up to launch her bouquet to a bevy of bridesmaids. But her last-minute decision to toss it like a pitcher at a baseball game meant her sister got it square in the face. I'm sure it smelled great. In the Henan province in China, a groom and his mother are trying to get this bride to leave the car. But she has something far more important to finish. The game she's playing on her mobile phone. It's not known if the two did eventually tie the knot or if this was game over. Get it? Game over. Oh dear. To ensure a bride makes the correct statement in a dress, they need a trusty bridesmaid that they can count on. And Tiffany's got your back.
Oh my God!
Brides hire her to avoid any nuptial nightmares.
One of the bridesmaids got nail varnish on her dress.
But there's a twist.
I can't have the other bridesmaids knowing that I'm undercover.
The story is, she's a long-lost friend.
I have apparently known the bride since we were on gap year together.
But the truth is, they barely know each other.
This is actually all complete rubbish. I met the bride 6 weeks ago.
She's the undercover bridesmaid.
I've just got to pull it off.
In the lead up to a wedding, it can get very stressful. So, Tiffany invites overburdened brides to vent their concerns via a video messaging service she calls her Bridezilla sessions. They sound horrific.
So how it works is a bride will send me a video, I'll watch it, and then give them my response back in the hope of helping them. So I have a video here. Now the bride doesn't want her identity to be revealed. I have no idea what her dilemma is, but we're going to watch it now and hopefully I can offer her some advice.
So I'm in a sticky situation where I don't really want children at my wedding. And the awkward thing is my sisters have children. I don't want screaming children in the church and I don't want them running around the bloody first dance when I just want to be with my husband to be.
This girl needs my help urgently, so I'm actually going to send her a message right now. Hi, I'm so sorry to hear you're having this dilemma. Please do not worry. Loads of brides don't want children at their wedding, so don't feel guilty about that. So my first tip would be get in there very, very quickly and let people know. You can do this by putting something on your wedding invite, basically saying, as much as we love your little ones, this is an adult-only affair. Try to be helpful. So on the wedding invite, also put a list of babysitters. Finally, and this will completely depend on your budget, you can actually hire wedding nannies. Now these are very experienced nannies that come along quite often with a teepee full of toys. All of the children can be sent to that area. There is a nanny there on site on your wedding day to look after them for the whole time. Those are my 3 tips. Anyway, I really hope it works out and have an amazing wedding. Bye!
Tiffany is also often asked to assist bridesmaids to be the best they can on the big day. So she has come up with a must-have survival kit. Avoid the bride.
This is a battery charger. Whenever you're at a wedding, someone forgets to charge their phone, so this is an essential. Quite often, someone will get a headache because they're stressed or overwhelmed, so always suggest they have some sort of paracetamol or painkillers. Finally, a sewing kit. Now, you never ever know what's going to go wrong on the day of a wedding. Someone's dress could tear. Oh, hold on. Aha, so I have been sent another Bridezilla vent.
This service is confidential, and as this bride may want Tiffany to work undercover, she's asked to remain anonymous. Don't blame her.
So I'm having an absolute nightmare for one of my bridesmaids. She's not coming to her dress fittings. I think she just sees this as like a big fun party, and it's just something that she can come along to, and she keeps on crying she's going to get absolutely wasted, and I'm just feeling really nervous, and I'm kind of thinking, is it too late to say you can't be a part of the wedding? If I do that, then how do I do it? Help!
Oh my goodness, this is not a great situation to be in. So having to fire a bridesmaid isn't very common, but it does happen. And obviously you've got to be very, very sensitive because, you know, they're your friend, you don't want to upset them forever. So you've got to really kind of do it in a kind but harsh and firm way. So I'm going to respond to her now because she obviously really needs my help. Hi, I'm so sorry to hear about your nightmare bridesmaid. So there are a couple of things that you can do if you want to fire your bridesmaid. First of all, the one hard and fast rule is do not do it over email or over text. You have to man up and you have to do it face to face. If you're a little bit nervous about actually firing them, don't fire them, demote them. Say something like, oh my goodness, you know, I've just realised that you're so good at public speaking, and actually I would love you to do a reading at my wedding. So don't worry about all the bridesmaid stuff, doing a reading will be much more helpful and I'd love you to do that. That basically makes them feel like they're still a big part of the wedding, but you kind of got rid of them as a bridesmaid. The final thing that you can do, and it is a slightly wimp's kind of way out, but you take your bridesmaid out for lunch and, you know, start the conversation by saying, oh my God, goodness, you know, you seem so stressed, you've got so much going on in your life at the moment, I act really concerned about her well-being. Then lay down everything that you need her to do as a bridesmaid. I need you to come for this dress fitting. I need you to be here for this appointment. I want you to arrange this hen do. I need you to fill in these forms. Absolutely everything you can think. What you are doing is hopefully putting her off. And fingers crossed that does the job. Anyway, good luck, and I hope it all turns out okay.
And finally, a lost parrot leads to love.
Truman the Cape parrot flew away, and that was a really heartbreaking experience.
Not only did I find a lot about birds, but I also found love.
Meet Michael and Mariana from New York, who both have a passion for parrots.
I'm known as the Parrot Wizard. I've had parrots for over 10 years, and they've been a very special part of my life.
I got my bird when I moved from Moscow to the US, and my parrot really helped me getting used to all the new things. So she was a pretty big deal to me.
Michael has two parrots. One is a rare breed Cape parrot called Truman, and the other is Keely, a Senegalese parrot.
Ooh, those are some good birds flying together.
But it was Truman that ultimately brought these two lovebirds together.
Back in 2014, I was getting a bit involved in free flying my parrots outside, unrestrained, and overall they were doing really well until one time Truman the Cape parrot flew away, and that was a really heartbreaking experience. Had ads and all over New York City. I was on New York TV News. It was really hard having him be lost in a huge city like New York. Luckily, a few days later, he was found and I did get him back. And out of this tragedy, friendships were born.
Through his efforts in tracking down Truman, Michael discovered a hidden community of fellow bird lovers and decided to organise regular get-togethers.
So the New York City Parrot Adventures group was formed just for like-minded people who own parrots to get to share stories and have their birds meet other birds and have fun as a group.
And through these meetings, love began to take off.
I was trying to learn as much as I can about parrots and be more involved in the parrot community.
She was kind of late, but she was treating me and the birds like such a celebrity that felt compelled to stick around a little bit longer and let her meet the birds.
We started going out with our birds, talking all about parrots. And not only did I find a lot about birds, but I also found love.
Parrots are very choosy, as they can attack and bite people. So knowing that my birds were in love with Mariana as much as I am is a really big deal. This would work out for the entire family, birds and people alike.
Parrots meant the world to these two. So their feathered friends were always going to play a big part at their wedding.
I actually didn't know in advance what roles the birds would have. And it was a pretty cute surprise from Michael.
These birds were used to going out and being around people. It's almost like they were being prepared for this their entire lives.
The wedding took place in the Appalachian Mountains, New Jersey.
Please repeat after me. Symbolizes my desire.
Symbolizes my desire.
That you be my wife.
That you be my wife.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
But not only were the vows delivered parrot fashion, but the rings as well.
Truman was the bird of honor. Being more friendly with Mariana, he was on her side of the wedding party. He was with me the longest, and she being the smartest and the most famous of all the birds, it was kind of obvious that she would be my best bird. She was also the ring bearer and passed me the ring at the ceremony.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Michael, you may kiss your bride.
But were the couple worried of any foul play at the ceremony?
Probably one of our bigger fears was our friends handling some of the bigger birds. So our friends had to be careful.
I was a little bit concerned that they would poop on the wedding dress, but you know, that's life with birds. Parrots being such a big part of my life, I could not have imagined the wedding without them.
So, does Keely have anything to add? Thought so.
Did you drop one in my pocket?